Hey, and welcome on Speak Up Darling Show. Today, I am here, Vanessa. I'm your host, and I'm welcoming NATASHA HARRIS for Mind, Body, Soul, Energy. And we are going to talk about our voice and the frequency of our words and how it impacts our body, how it impacts how we can achieve our goal. So I let some space and time for NATASHA to present and introduce her work.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's so lovely to be here and welcome everybody. This is a topic I love to have, as Vanessa well knows. So I'm NATASHA HARRIS. I'm an intuitive business coach and healer and activator. I work with entrepreneurs to really supporting them to take their business and their life as well, because it's all linked, to their next level of impact and leadership for the better of the planet, the environment and the planet and society as a whole is really hugely important to me. So I work with people who really have a really heart-centered mission to impact the globe in a different way. So yeah, I'm just excited to be talking. I work with the Akashic Records as well. It's probably worth noting. Work with the wisdom of the Akashic Records. So for those of you that don't know much about those, perhaps we can just intro that in a bit. But really supporting people to overcome their patterns of behavior, and really releasing old ways of doing things so that we can really step into the new earth paradigm, the new way of doing things, that is really much more centered around ourselves, loving ourselves, being kind to ourselves. And this is the topic that we're going to talk about today. But yeah, so we can speak up with honesty and passion and authenticity and all the things that really do truly make a difference to us. So
Yeah. And this is the thing that we tend to forget about when we want to change or make an impact into the world. Is the first thing is us, how we are with ourselves, how we take care literally of our actions, our words, and that it comes from a center, and the center is us and our hearts, how we manage, how our soul is expressing herself. And that's why it was so important for me to have you here and talk about your work, because your work it was so beneficial for me to have this working with the Akashic Records and at least understand at last why this window of possibilities of why I'm here on earth, and why I keep repeating also the same mistakes, and how to shift that, and to understand that I have everything that I need to go forwards, to go where I want, and to achieve, or not really achieve, but get to create something better, and really having the impact I want on other people and on the planet. And you can't really go to this direction when you don't know yourself, when you don't really, it's not even by controlling, but understanding the essence of yourself, the essence of your soul, and creating these new things, and not just repeating the patterns of generations before you. So the voice and how you express yourself by the voice and by the energy you bring into your words, into your relationships, personal, business, or career ones, it's so important when you want to make an impact, a real impact on the world. So it would be nice if you can explain first the Akashic Records a bit. So it gives.
I will do. Yeah, that's just so important, isn't it? I think especially as women, we've just been really hindered from speaking up, and like that's why I think your show is so important to women especially, but to everybody, for to speak up and speak our truth and our authenticity, and really to get to know ourselves again, and like who we are. We are all soul beings, I believe. We are soul beings having a really quite challenging experience here in our human bodies here on earth at times. And we are as unique as a fingerprint. Who we are, our vibrational field is as unique as a fingerprint. And so when we start to tap into that frequency, really we can create massive shifts and massive change in our lives and in the world. But for the purposes of the Akashic Record, for those of you who don't know anything about the Akashic Record, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It is vast. It is hugely vast, as Vanessa knows. And I'm still learning loads more about the Akashic Records, because it's this beautiful energetic database, if you like, of everything that we think, do, feel, and say. So if we think about everything being energy, I speak in energies. I understand energies. I can see energies moving around and how it interacts and how it impacts us. It's the way I kind of like communicate with things. And if we think of everything as energy, everything we say has a vibrational frequency. We know this for certain. There's no woo about it anymore. We know this with science. It's not woo. It's not like, oh, that's a bit weird. We know, we categorically know everything we think, do, say, feel has an energetic vibration. What we also categorically know is that energy cannot be destroyed. So anything with an energetic vibrational feel to it cannot be destroyed. We cannot kill energy off, but what we can do is transform it. So that's why we can go from feelings of, sadness, and then something will happen and we're like, oh, we're happy, or the other way around. It's why we can feel joy and we can feel a range of emotions, and that is okay. Often we think we can only have the good vibrations and the good feelings, but actually it's okay to have a range of them. That's what makes us human. So if we can't destroy energy, but we can transform it, what happens to that energy? And basically, that's what they call the Akashic Record. So everything we've ever thought, said, acted out, done, and if we believe in past lives, everything we've done in past lives is also stored as an energetic vibrational field in our own Akashic Record. Now, every soul has an Akashic Record, and our Akashic Record also came into existence the moment our soul came into existence. So it holds really beautiful information about who we are at soul level, our unique. I said, before, we are all unique as a fingerprint. There are no two people that will resonate on exactly the same frequency at exactly the same time, but it holds that seed information of who we are on an energetic level. So we get to know, we can really get to access the information about who we are as individual beings on a soul level and on an energetic level. And that's why I love it.
Yeah. And that's something we tend, as you said, was a bit woohoo before, and now science said, oh, it is true. Yay.
Yeah, at last.
It opens so much possibilities to just rewire some limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, some actions we thought we didn't think we could do it before,
Yes.
at an individual level, but as a group level also, because what we keep doing as positive also will have an impact on the group, on the collectivity.
Yes.
And that we tend to forget that in any case we are all connected, and but not enchained to each other, and we always have interaction. It's not just, okay, you're here away and we don't have an interaction. It just from there, the technology that we have now show by eyes that we can connect like this, but it's not just at this level. It's at really a bit deeper level that we can connect. And
I love that.
It's just precious. It's just we need to understand and see, not by our eyes, by what we feel, by our emotions, that we have this connection, and the disconnection that we have lived the past 2 years is kind of a proof, it's a strong evidence of how we need the connection between each other. Even the people we don't like sometimes, it's the needs of being connected, and not being in the same room, or the touch. It's one of the precious, to be alive. Our body is made for emotions and to touch each other. So you can't really, even the past 2 years has been difficult for that. We need to just open and, this is why it's so important. And the work you do is to really kind of clear out these old paradigms, and really open so many doors that are not even really doors, but fields of energy. That it's just so blow-minded. It's just I'm so glad I met you, for example, because you open so many possibilities that I really thought were just dreaming.
Yeah.
But now that I know it's another existence, and it's another dimension of us
Yeah.
that we need to be in.
Yeah.
It's it it really kind of, long story short, to frequency,
Yeah.
but just to understand and accept it, that it is possible, that
Yes.
we are
It's all
here and we can
possible.
shift things,
Yeah.
that we don't need to stay where we are and who we think we are. We need to
Exactly.
take us the layers.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a bit like peeling it back the onion, isn't it? It's like we want to do things as, in layers to remove the things that are really standing in our way from allowing us to shine, to be who we truly are. And then we take off a layer, and then something else will reveal itself, and then something else will reveal itself. And as you said, even the people who we come into contact with that don't feel that great, that aren't a connection, we don't, it doesn't feel like a match. They are there still to offer us something in how we want to speak up, how we want to be seen, how we want to communicate, and all of these things. And when we think about everything being connected, it's really important that we recognize that everything we put out there has an energetic frequency. And what do we really truly want to contribute? The world, as you said, has been in turmoil for 2 years. It's still pretty much in turmoil.
Yeah.
So what do we want to, on the collective level, contribute towards? And everything we contribute into the system is actually, it has an impact. Don't ever underestimate the impact it has. So even when you speak up with love for 5 minutes, it has such a huge impact, because
Yeah.
love has a stronger, higher, I'm not so keen on the higher, lower vibrational
That's right.
understanding of it, but it has such a deeper, richer, expanded frequency. It's lighter, and it really does have a huge impact. So never underestimate how our words and the things that we say not only impact us, but impacts the collective as well. It's so important.
Yeah. It's the difficult thing, I think, to be human. It's the physical. The we tend to, I can see that there is a lot of mindset workshops or mindset gurus or things like this, that do this, visualize this, and all will be fine and it will come to you. But there is not enough on how the body can make it happen. When I've been what was it? Yeah, learning with you that it's it's also through the body that you realize it's the
Yes.
body is the one making the action.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one will help you, will give you through emotions, okay, you need maybe to work on that, or you have to pass through that, or
Yeah.
welcome this sadness, or welcome
Yeah.
the fear
Yeah.
into your
Yeah.
actions. So you
Yeah.
can go through, and instead of just, okay, thinking positive and it will be fine.
No, I think that's,
Visualize.
yes, exactly. Those are very important elements, I have to say. But I think the thing with what spirituality has been teaching us for way too long now is that that's where the answers lie, and that's where they lie alone. And
Yeah.
we are multidimensional, multifaceted beings. We have a human body, which we have to navigate, which is not always easy. We have our emotions, we have our mental body, so our thoughts and our thinking brain. But then we have our spiritual side of us, and then we have the collective as well. And all of these things exist in simultaneously, in the same moment, in the same microsecond. It's not that we are being human and then we're getting into a meditative state and we're being spiritual. It's really, we are all of those things at all times. So
Yeah.
if we want to create, and we all want to manifest, a
Mm. Good.
partner, better health, money, success, a business. For me and my clients, it's all about, creating something within their business and having that deeper impact. We all want to create, and what we can only create in the third dimensional aspect of our physical bodies here on the earthly plane, with our feet firmly on the ground. And that's the only place we manifest.
Mm.
And so we cannot manifest purely by escapism and being in meditative states or in daydreaming or doing only that. We have to take action. And the problem is that our third dimensional bodies are the heaviest state. So if you think about dimensions, you know, emotions and thoughts are, you know, they're not something you can see. Spirituality and the universe and manifestation is also something we can't tangibly see. We can see the body, and it's the densest part. So it takes the longest amount of time for us to keep going and to taking action for our results to start seeing in the physical. That's why our bodies are the vehicle through which we manifest, and what we say and do and think is so important.
Yeah. So now we kind of been clear on where we start with. It's the frequency that we want to bring in.
Yes.
It's how to understand how it starts with this frequency, or maybe if we could talk about the intention behind the words, or how
Yeah.
the words come along.
Yeah. Yes. So when we are a vibration, let's just start with this first. When
Yeah.
we are a vibrational match to something, it has to appear in our reality. So we are manifesting all the time. Everything in our experience is something that we are manifesting. So if something is not appearing for you, it's because we are not a physical vibrational match to it yet. But the universe goes, oh, like almost like a magnet, and sticks to us, and then it appears in our experience. So when we're talking about what we say, is like, if you think about, so if you can hear my voice has a frequency. You will hear intonations, you will hear something will resonate. I might say a word, something I've already said may have given you goosebumps. You will feel it on a vibrational level, even though you're nowhere near me. You could be halfway across the world, but that reaction in your body will be instantaneous and immediate. There is no time and space between it. It doesn't take an amount of time for my energetic resonance of what comes out of my mouth to
Yeah.
impact you. So in a positive way, or as Vanessa said, you know, in a negative way, sometimes we feel it. We know when we walk into a room and we're like, oh, something's telling me, get out. You know, this doesn't feel like somewhere I want to spend my evening. Don't want to be here. Don't want to eat the food. We have this, we pick things up on a vibrational frequency all the time. Trouble is, we're not always listening.
Yeah.
We're not always, you know, or we're hearing it and we're going, oh, but it's like, oh, I'm too busy, or what we say is so important. So everything I say, especially when I'm working in this space, is considered, it's thoughtful. It's like, how do I want this to land? Might I want somebody to receive the information that I'm offering? Now, some people, it won't resonate, and that's got to be okay too.
Yeah.
And that's all right. But we can't, because we can't be on the same frequency, and it will be for some people and not for other people as well. So I don't know if that quite answers your question, Vanessa. Did that kind of looped around? I think I went back to it, but I'm not sure if I did.
I think you needed just to explain what everything about frequency is, and because we tend that, because I think the human brain it tries to reduce as much as it can, and that's what it's easier for the brain and the mind to put in boxes.
Yes.
And not mixing things together. And sometimes we see frequencies as just like one line going to from A to B, when it's not just one line. It's the kind of the whole body will receive it. And we just tend to think like when a kid will just draw a head and the body really really simply. But we still tend to do the same. The brain takes always the easy way to understand or to react.
Yeah.
It doesn't open really the book to the deep book of what is really happening. So I think it's really essential to understand that we give some frequencies, we receive some frequencies, but it's not just one line. It's the whole kind of aura of our human being statement, that we are there, we are like this. And I can just notice with my 5 years old, he will hear just some words, not the full sentence.
Yes.
He will it's and we are the same. We can sometimes, we're focused on something, someone is talking to us, we just
Yeah.
hear a part, and we
Yeah.
are going to react just to the parts that resonate with us, but not the
Mm-hmm.
full sentence or the full intention behind
Yeah.
the sentence. So
Yeah.
it's really necessary to understand that we tend to go to the easy way.
Yeah.
But we have the ability to open and be more welcoming, or not even
Yes.
welcoming, but understanding that what the other person says
Yeah.
is, even if it's negative words about us, is
Yeah.
theirs to
Yeah.
own, not ours.
Absolutely.
And that it's really understand this first part we were talking about before, to be aware of that, uh, instead of just going what the brain says and react
Yeah.
and just go fire about something
Yeah.
that was not really maybe the case or
Yeah.
necessary. So I do think that it's really, this case is necessary to understand that frequencies are kind of wide.
They
And
are very, very wide. And you know, that's the thing, I think, is like when we start to really understand the impact of what we're hearing and what we're speaking. So I think what you said there was really important. It's like, how often do we really listen
yeah.
to what people are saying? You know, next time you're having a conversation with a friend, your mom, your dad, your parent, your child, like,
Mm,
how often are you really listening? Because we are so distracted. And
yeah.
how often do you feel listened to? You can tell when someone's busy doing something, even if they're on the end of the phone, you have not got their full attention. How does that make you feel? And it really taps into certain things for us. Oh, I'm never heard. I'm not seen. Well, nobody wants to listen to me. I've got nothing important to say. So it
Mm,
taps into all these emotions around that. So really, when you're having a conversation next time, I think what I suggest you can do is really notice how much your mind is chattering away about what you want to say next as someone is talking, and
mm,
start to see how it feels differently when you give someone your undivided attention. That things slow down, that things feel different, that you feel like you're really present with someone in the room, and you can feel that shift in your body. You can absolutely feel it. And then when you're speaking and it's your turn to talk, like,
mm,
what is the energy that you're imparting? Is it rushed? Is it like you're stumbling over yourself? You're trying to get in as much as you possibly can before it's their turn to speak. Slow it down. See how that feels differently. Think a little bit. We don't have to say things immediately. You know,
mm,
it's sometimes, you know, some of the most powerful moments are always when we give it a pause. We are not comfortable with silence.
mm,
When someone asks us a question, when someone sends us an email, we have to reply, respond immediately. Take a pause, give it a moment, check in with yourself. How do you want to respond? What did you choose to put out there as a ripple effect? And it really does transform the way that we feel, the vibration that we're holding in our own bodies when we have real, true connection in communication.
yeah.
And it also impacts the other person. And that's what we're rippling out to the wider field. So never underestimate the power of listening and presence in a conversation, and also in how you are imparting the information. Do you leave that person feeling a bit overwhelmed and a bit like, oh, I just been given a whole load of information? Or do you leave
Yeah.
them feeling calm or connected or going, oh, I'm curious, I want to know more. What's that about?
Mm. Yeah, it is important to kind of step back a bit of what or how we could or how we have been,
Yes.
um, especially even the one we love the most. We don't take. It's not we don't take time, but we take some energy to do different things in the same time, because we've been demanded to answer, to be to do everything, especially for women. I feel that that we have to take
Yeah.
care to be psychologists for the kids, for the husband, for the for the colleagues, for everything, and to be at the top all the time when we can't be. We are not. We need some rest. But I think we tend to forget that taking rest also means uh, taking the time to be present. If
Yes.
we can be present and do less at a time,
Yeah.
uh, you can just enjoy more your life, and it doesn't sound or look kind of
Yeah.
heavy on the shoulders.
Yeah.
So the intentions we put into our conversations or our actions is just is is kind of multiplying to good
Yeah.
things and good vibes
Absolutely.
around us. Uh, but I feel for people who are always in a rush.
Yes.
That's they know, for example, yeah, I need to take time, I need to be more mindful, and well, we keep
Yeah.
being on
It's
the phone all the time
yeah.
because we're so attracted by it. I have to remind myself, literally, I'm still on my phone. Why am I
Yeah.
still on my phone? I don't need
Me
to.
too. Yeah, we're human and we live in this society, but this idea that we need to do so many different things at once, that we're always in a rush, is an illusion.
Mm,
It really is an illusion. And I have been practicing this for many, many years because I live in London. And I think my overarching question, at the beginning when I started on this personal development journey was, how do I live in London and still be able to enjoy, to slow down, to do things at my own pace? And that led me on a real journey of that. And it's really so important because what I have learnt, and what I teach my clients as well, is that it is an illusion, this illusion of time. And actually, when we slow down and we have presence with one thing, we
mm,
actually don't, because when we're doing multiple things at once, where somebody's talking at us and we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that, there's some things we can multitask. We can
yeah.
watch the telly and iron at the same time. Not that I do
Mm,
any ironing. But like we can listen to the radio while cooking.
yeah.
There's some things we can do at the same time, but we can't be present and doing something else at the same time. So when we have this idea of like, actually, I'm getting more done because I'm doing this, I'm half listening, I'm half doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, I'm getting things done quicker. That is an illusion and it is a lie.
Mm,
And what we actually tend to do is expend so much energy when we do that. But actually, if we took time to just be present with that person for the few minutes that they need us, they get off. They're not like tugging, the little ones, not tugging at our shoulder for 10 minutes because we haven't really
yeah.
heard them. It's like, I've just answered that, but you haven't really. You haven't really heard them and you haven't really responded to them. Or if
Mm,
it's a conversation with an adult, it just takes longer. So we're spending more time with that. Then the other things we're doing, we're not giving our full attention to, and we're not doing those properly either. So actually, if we just broke it down and slowed down and gave each piece our attention, we would get everything done in a much shorter space of time. We would feel very differently.
yeah.
We would be calmer. Our nervous system wouldn't be so on
Buzzing.
stress, on
Mm,
high alert,
mm,
and we would feel different. And that's the shift that we want to create in our frequency, is we want to stop pumping our bodies with adrenals and
mm.
exhausting our adrenal glands and our system to the point of exhaustion. And then we have the energy and we are capable of doing so much more, manifesting on a higher frequency, and the results are incredible.
Yeah. It's it, it's so, sometimes I think it seems so unattainable. You can't do it because, well, we've been for the past few years on to-do lists. I hear that a lot. It's just with a lot of deadlines.
Yeah.
But it's, and there is so many things, little things we have to do, but the main thing is to come back to what we know and what we can do, what we are able to do, I think, and to realize that we can do it, but we don't need to answer to the stress of others.
Yeah.
We do what we can, we do the best we can,
Mhm.
and we do it our way,
Yeah.
by stepping back a bit, by taking the time to, especially when you answer to people,
Yes.
kids or adults, that's mostly if you just turn your face to them when you answer, they will have already a better feeling around you.
Yeah.
They will feel just heard by turning your face to them
Exactly.
and look at them,
Yes.
and you just put at ease a bit more, and you can, even for yourself, you can say, okay, I
Yeah.
answered your questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Leave me
And
alone. I need to do something
yeah.
else.
And it's so impactful. And this is how we really do shift our frequency of our body. When we
Mm,
start being present in our environment with the people we're around, our relationship with ourselves really does shift. And it's so important to really start to slow down. And we're not machines. We're not here to do everything. We've got
yeah,
this perceived idea that we should be super women and with superhuman powers. And if we're not doing that, we failed. But you are doing an amazing job. You are doing an incredible, service
mm,
to all those around you. Start giving back to yourself. Start putting yourself at the forefront of everything you do, and you will start to feel the difference in your body, in your emotions, how you feel every day, in the thoughts that you're thinking. Start nurturing yourself with good feeling thoughts. How often do you berate yourself? How often are you horrible to yourself? How often do you have a conversation with yourself that you would never speak like that to a friend? Start
yeah,
to notice the dialogue that you are having with yourself. It is very often not kind. And so
yeah,
we know that um, the more kind of harsh words we speak to ourselves, we berate ourselves, our confidence slips, we want to shy away. It doesn't boost us, it doesn't allow us to shine.
mm,
Start being grateful to yourself for everything you're trying to do right now, and know that you're doing a great job, and switch that conversation in your mind, and you'll
yeah,
start to feel better emotionally, but also physically as well, because you will shift your
yeah.
vibration field.
Yeah, it's really something to reconsider instead of watching outside and wait the reaction to start. You're the center, you're the beacon of what you are attracting right now, and you
Yeah,
can shift the frequency from
yeah,
yourself, your
yeah,
side of the things,
yeah.
and not waiting from outside.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely. It starts with us. You are a beautiful, incredible, unique being. And it's like, as you start to recognize how incredible you are, how amazing you are, everything will change for you. This is such a huge topic. I could talk about this for another hour, but I know we haven't
yeah,
got
so do I.
time.
But as you said, starting with gratitude, I think it's the first point. Instead of judging what you haven't done, start with the gratitude of, I'm here, I'm grateful to be alive and to have this range of possibility of reaction, action, and what I can do with my life. And you might have, as soon as you say that, you might have the limiting belief coming onto
Yeah,
the scheme of the things, but
that's okay.
it's just because, yeah, because this part doesn't like change, but you want change, and it's by little things, and the
Yes.
little things starts with you into how you wear the confidence of going forwards.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's the first step. It's gratitude to your body, because without your body, you won't be able to do anything. But
Yes,
and
absolutely.
even getting healthier, or getting uh, more comfortable with movement or things like this, is just, you
Yeah.
can't start by fighting.
No,
That's
no, because that will
like,
just create more fight. Whatever we're putting into the system is what we get back. So if we're being mean to ourselves, that will be reflected back through the conversations we have. We will never feel enough. We will never feel, loved by others. Whatever we're putting out there is what we're getting back. So if you can start with just a simple 3 points of a gratitude list to say what you're grateful for in your life, what you're grateful for yourself for, because remember,
yeah,
you are manifesting that. So if it is in your life and you're grateful for it, you created it. So be grateful for yourself. It didn't happen to you, outside of you. You created
no,
that. So
yeah,
remember that you are at the center of that piece of gratitude, and without you, it wouldn't be in your life. So, you know, even starting with that and building on that, I mean, that was a huge part of my journey. And I have to say, it wasn't easy when I started with that.
No.
But it builds and builds, and we can then start to build our confidence in getting out there and doing things that we never thought we could do. I also heard recently, you know, courage is basic. Confidence is courage through fear.
Yeah.
So confidence doesn't come to us and then we do it. We have to be courageous when we're in fear, and then the confidence comes.
Yeah.
So it is so important, and this is how we create the change in our life.
It's this first baby step that we haven't learned. I think that we learn more easily to be just harsh with ourselves, to criticize what we don't do, or what we haven't done perfectly, and we forget what we've done. But it's to relearn that. It's something we can relearn again, and by doing, just take a piece of paper right now, take a pen, and just write these three things you're grateful for to you, not to whatever happened or possibility opened recently, but what did you do today or yesterday, recently, that you're proud of and you're grateful for yourself. And it's just starting by that, being grateful to be there.
There's
And
so much love and gratitude.
and that's it, how you can shift progressively your frequency to where you want to go. It's not by just saying, I don't want this, I don't want that. Is what do I do right now? I'm grateful for, and keep on building.
Yes,
It's just the
absolutely.
start.
And sometimes we have to go back to the beginning. Like sometimes I have to remind myself, what was those things I used to do like 10 years ago? And I have to come back to that. But notice as well, you know, the feeling in your body, the vibrational frequency when you feel good and when you don't feel good, you will notice the shift. That is the frequency we're talking about here. And what feels good, and it doesn't mean to say we can't feel bad. Challenge comes up, things come up in our lives. We're not here to avoid those bad feelings. They are just information. It's just information for us to do something. But start to notice like what's going on in your body. We are so disconnected from our, you know, through our body, and what we're feeling as insight, as information, as beautiful wisdom that we can shift and change something. So yeah, it's really is a game changer.
Yeah, I do think I will reinvite Natasha for another show.
I think we picked a topic that was too big. We should have broken it down.
I think we're all broken down next time.
Yes.
But yeah, this is the best way anyway to end the show today. It's being grateful. I'm really grateful for Natasha to come here, but I'm grateful also for creating this show, because it's my way to share my knowledge and invite people like Natasha to share their knowledge, and to give you some insight of what you can do, because you can't do everything. It sounds fairy tale, but it is true, and we tend to dismantle that and being negative about that. But if we can do negative things, as we human beings do, we can do also positive things.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And more we build on the positive, and the impact of it on the rest of the world is immense and possible. So
absolutely.
being grateful. Now, if I would recommend strongly to work with Natasha, so please, Natasha, tell us how we can reach you and how.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you so much, Vanessa, for inviting me on to this. I'm hugely grateful. And I'm grateful to myself for saying yes and showing up. So, so thank you very much. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about the Akashic Records, and having a one-to-one session, understanding who you are at that soul frequency level, and what blocks are getting in your way, you can just go over to my website, www.mindbodysoulenergy.co.uk. And all my services are listed on there. If you are a business owner and you want support working in a 6-month or 1-year container with me to take your business to the next level, there is also a way to get in touch with me on my website. But otherwise, if you, I do run free masterclasses. So if you're interested in just finding out and being in my energy a little bit more, I am starting a monthly masterclass on the last Wednesday of every month, so starting next week on the 23rd of February, and they are business energetics for the goddess entrepreneur, and it's all about success and freedom. So if that is of interest, then go to my website. There is an Eventbrite link. You can click on that and sign up, and yeah, I hope to see you soon. Otherwise, just DM me. I'm very happy to answer questions.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Thank
I
you.
do recommend that a lot.
Yes.
But I will be there too for the masterclass. Sounds good
Mhm.
for me. And
Yes.
until until then, please speak up, darling.
Speak up. Raw.